In this episode of the Effective E-commerce podcast, I'm actually going to be doing a crossover episode. So it's not only a podcast, but it's also going to be a YouTube video. So a lot of this stuff is going to be very easier to see than it is just to hear it in audio form. So if you go to my YouTube channel, go to YouTube, type in Effective E-commerce, you'll find my YouTube channel, and you can actually watch the video and watch along with me. So I'll be recording my screen at the same time. Obviously, if you're just finding me on YouTube, I do have a podcast as well where I talk about e-commerce stuff. But let's get into the 7 secrets of Google Analytics. So these are the 7 secrets. We have source/medium, secondary dimensions, e-commerce, a section, transactions, goals and funnels, geolocations, and last but not least, segments. So all 7 of these things are things that you can look at your data. You can look at the data in Google Analytics to get a better idea of what's going on with your website, how you can improve your website, and a lot of really good information. So I do have some bonus info at the end of some of the most powerful things that you can do with Google Analytics as well. I might end up saving that for the next episode, but we'll see if I can get to it in this episode. So let's start from the beginning. But before we get into that, I do want to remind you that I have an AdWords course that will be launching February 20th. It's not that far away. It's a little over 2 weeks away, I believe. So get excited for that, because that's going to be a really in-depth course about Google AdWords and product listing ads, Google shopping ads. 2 of my most, and you'll actually see in this walkthrough how valuable they are to me. So for this walkthrough, I'm going to be using data, if you're watching this on YouTube, that is from 2016, January to February. So it's about 2 years old. That way my competitors don't get any useful information out of this, but you guys still will, because you'll see all the secrets. So secret number 1 is to go to source/medium. And the way you would get there is, once you're in Google Analytics, under acquisition, go to all traffic, source/medium. This is the number 1 thing I look at the most. It's very, very powerful. It shows you a snapshot of where all your traffic is coming from, and it shows you just a bunch of really good data. And if you have it properly set up, you'll be able to see your revenue in the far right column, see the number of transactions, and in the very far left column, you'll see the sources of the traffic and the medium. So for instance, Google/CPC is my number 1 source for traffic. That's AdWords and product listing ads. So that's where I get most of my traffic for my main, or at least was my main, dance clothing company at the time. Number 2 for me is Google/organic. So I got almost 4,000 people coming from Google CPC, almost 3,500 people coming from Google Organic. Now, a lot of the people that are finding me through Google Organic, the way that they actually found me in the first place was through PPC. And there's ways that I can tell this, and maybe I'll show later in this how I can show that, or how I can know that. But for me, source number 3 is direct/none. Direct means that they typed in my address into the URL. So it comes direct to the website. So Google Analytics doesn't know where the traffic is coming from, which is absolutely fine. And you have to realize with that, if people are typing in my URL directly, they found me somewhere else. So maybe a friend told them about me, but good chance that they found me first from paid advertising or possibly organic SEO, and then they decided, I want to go back to that website, and they typed it in. So for me, number 4 is Bing CPC. So once again, another paid advertising platform. And then finally, 5th is Pinterest/DIY pins. And there's a lot more after that. But the number 5 traffic source for me, I've got almost 600 people that come from it, versus the number 1, which is almost 4,000. And then the number 6 traffic source is 250 people. So what does this mean? There's a steep decline. There's the 80-20 principle. What that means is 80% of your results come from 20% of your inputs. And as you can see here, I've got hundreds of different sources, 224 to be exact. But over 80% of my traffic comes from my top 5 or 6 sources. So to me, that means that I should double down, and I should really work hard on these sources. So for me, it's obviously AdWords is my number 1 source of traffic, AdWords and product listing ads. So what does that mean? Well, that means that I should really capitalize on that. I should add more AdWords. I should spend more time and money on perfecting those, because that's kind of that's the 80-20 of my traffic is paid traffic. And Just in case anyone is interested in the course, if you're on YouTube, you can click up here to check it out. Sorry, I don't mean this to all be selling the course. This really is going to be the 7 secrets of Google Analytics, but this is just actually a good reminder of how powerful it can be. So anyways, let's go into the next thing. And the next thing, oops, I accidentally A to Z'd this column. That's okay. So if you click on any of the column headers, it'll A to Z the column. So the next thing I want to look at is secondary dimensions. And there is a bunch of different categories for secondary dimensions. And I'll explain what it is in just a second. But the categories are like acquisition, advertising, behavior, custom dimensions, time, social, users, blah, blah, blah. Secondary dimensions, and once again, this is easier to see if you're watching the video than it is if you're on the podcast, is it basically, it'll take this traffic source of Google/CPC and split it into a bunch of different secondary dimensions. So an example of this would be if I clicked on behaviors and landing page. Let's see if it does it properly. Give it a second. It would take Google/CPC and say Google/CPC people that landed on this product page, Google/CPC people that landed on a different product page. And you can see here, if you're watching the video, it's split it. So most people, at least in terms of revenue, they're landing on my main pages. Then we have the colors. Oh, that's for organic. Oh, okay, yeah, for organic, that most people are landing directly on my home page. For, let's see, organic, then some more people are landing on the colors. Anyways, you can look at a bunch of different data. This is a very powerful tool, secondary dimensions, and there's a lot of different ones that you can use. I think the most common one I use is landing pages, but let's see what else we can do. You can do advertising. I think you can do ad group. AdWords ad group. So you can split it up into AdWords ad groups. That way you can see exactly all this dimensions and all this data about the AdWords ad groups. Let's go here. Let's see. And you can once again A to Z the column. And you can see I have the yellow unitards, for instance. I can see how many users it gets. I can see how many of them are new users, how many sessions they're doing, the bounce rate, pages per session, just a ton of data. So this is extremely valuable. The next thing we'll look at, so I'm going to get rid of this. I think if I just refresh it, it'll actually get rid of it. All right, let's do it. So the next thing I want to show is, if you scroll up to the top, there's a few different things you'll see. It's summary, site usage, goal set 1, and e-commerce. Click on that e-commerce little tab, little section, and you can get some interesting information. So the next thing you're going to do is at the top here, originally it was summary that was clicked, but you're going to click on e-commerce at the far right here. This is going to give you some good information. So you can see that these columns have changed. So now it goes source/medium, users, sessions, revenue, transactions, average order value, e-commerce conversion rate, and per session value. This per session value is very useful. And what you can do if you want is A to Z that and go through and see where is your best per session value coming from. So for me, this Dancer Deals is one of them. But you see, this isn't very significant data. So what I like to do is I like to go show all my rows and scroll through until I see an outlier. So for Facebook, I see on average, I'm getting a per session value of $8. That means every time I get someone from Facebook to my website, it's worth $8. So in theory, that means that I could spend a lot of money on Facebook ads and it's worth it for me. That's not always true. Same thing, the thank you order email is good. But then the most profitable one is direct. If someone comes directly to my website, I can now see how profitable that is. Next is CPC, and then next is organic. So I'm making about $4 every time I can get someone to type in my URL, and I'm making about $4, and that's revenue, every time someone clicks on one of my ads. So very interesting data to know there. Next up, let's go to transactions. This is another one of those things that I like to look at. I don't look at it as much as I used to, but it's fun. And you go to conversions at the bottom, e-commerce. I believe it's sales performance. So they've changed this up in the last few years. So yeah, you can see each sale, and you can see some fun data here. And this is where secondary dimensions really shine. So I can see, for instance, one of the sale transaction ID 10687. And I can use secondary dimensions to say, hey, acquisition, what was the source/medium for that? And one of the things I noticed, okay, that was actually paid advertising. Now, if I wanted to do, again, a secondary dimension, I could go in here and say behavior. Actually, let's go back to advertising and then go to AdWords, ad group. And see what comes up. So by large answer, that means that they typed in my name. That's what I have it set for. Another thing I could do is behavior landing page. And I could go through all my top sales, all my like really big sales, and see where are they landing. In this one, they were landing on high waist briefs. Then the next one was the shopping cart, not surprisingly. Default. Most of these are the home page. So I see that it seems like a lot of people that are placing big orders come to my website a few times. And the final time that they come to my website, they're directly typing in bdanswear.com. So that's important information to know. And it's important for when I'm spending money on advertising to realize that I not only have to get them to the website one time, but I have to get them there over and over again. And you can go through all these different secondary dimensions and look up what all of them do. Let's see what else we have. See if there's anything else I use. Social. Not really. I wouldn't use social. Time's kind of fun because you can look at day of the week, for instance. So what day of the week do most of my big sales happen? Why not? So 0, I believe that's Sunday. I might be wrong on that. So 0, I think Sunday, and then 3 is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I see somewhat of a pattern. There's a lot of zeros on here. There's a few 3s. So it's just an interesting idea. Maybe I ramp up my ad spend on the days that big sales tend to happen. It's just some information that you can kind of log away and think about. Let's go to the next thing, and that's goal funnels. And I show in a separate video how to set up goal funnels. You can go to goals and then funnel visualizations, a fun way to do it. $5 email. Or goal flow, I believe. Let me see this. No. Funnel visualization. And maybe at the time I didn't have it set up. Let me just see something. And obviously in the upper right hand corner you can change the date. The next thing I want to show you is the goal funnels. And this is a very powerful tool for analyzing your data as well. And to get to there, under conversions, you'll click on goals and then funnel visualization. And you need to set this up. And I do have a separate video showing how to set this up. And I'll link it to this video. But you're going to have to go and figure out which goal you want to visualize. For me, I'm going to look at order placed because I have the correct visualization set up. And the way I have it is I can see every time someone goes to the shopping cart, what percentage of those people go to the one-page checkout? And then what percent of those actually place an order? And you can see it's only about 50% of the people that get to the shopping cart actually place an order. So what I can try to do is figure out how can I make that so it converts better? Because every step you lose a certain percentage of people. Every time someone goes to the shopping cart, not all of them are going to convert and go to the checkout page. Every time someone goes to a checkout page, not all of them are going to actually purchase. And you want to figure out what are they doing. So I notice, for instance, 11 people are from the checkout page going to my frequently asked questions. 12 people from my shopping cart are going to frequently asked questions. Maybe it's something I need to be more clear and answer these questions earlier on. Maybe I could figure out what kind of questions they have. Maybe it's the return policy or something like that, and I can make that more clear on the shopping cart or the checkout page. But it's just a way to look at your data and try to learn as much as you can. So the next secret that I'm going to go over is geolocations. And if you go up into audience, I believe, and then go to demographics, and geo, and then location. This is a cool tool for realizing and figuring out where most your traffic is coming from, but you can do a lot more than just that. So if you look at mine, like almost all of it's coming from the United States, a small amount's coming from Canada, small amount's coming from the UK. And this is interesting for me for a bunch of different reasons, but one, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to see where all this traffic is coming from. But the other reason is you can go down and you can actually look at, let me just change the date here so I'm not giving away any private information. You can actually, if you want to, you can click on the United States, for instance, if you live in the United States, and you can actually go by state. So I can see California is where most of my traffic comes from, most of the users. Texas is number 2, New York is number 3. That's not super surprising. But what if I order it in conversion percentage? Let's see. Yeah. So what has the highest conversion percentage? And it tends to be, let's see, Montana. So maybe I need to do more advertising to Montana. And as you can see, there's not a lot of traffic coming from there. But Massachusetts, I get almost 500 people coming from, and it's got a 9% conversion rate. Missouri's 10% conversion rate. Kansas is 12% conversion rate. So I can look at this, and I can even drill in deeper, I believe, and look at what areas of Massachusetts. And this might be something I do. And look at, they're all coming from this area, and I'm sure that's some big town, Boston probably. I can look at that data, and I can advertise. I can do Facebook ads to Boston. Let's see what other kind of information we can do. I can look at, it doesn't show the average order value. I can look at the e-commerce tab within geolocation as well, and I can see the per session value. So let's order it in order of per session value. So Wyoming has the highest per session value, but Massachusetts, number 4, with quite a lot of data. It's got 455 people coming from. So once again, maybe for my Facebook ads, if I'm going to target a location, I target dancers in the Boston area. I target maybe Ohio as well. But Massachusetts, per session, I am making $9 versus, let's look at California. Wow, California is low. California, I'm making $3. So I'm making 3 times the amount per session every time someone logs onto my website in Massachusetts. So that's really valuable information. The average order value is $100. And we can also look at the average order value, see where the average order value is the highest. It looks like on average, it's in Wyoming or West Virginia, it's the highest. And that's important information to know as well. So I'm hoping you're starting to realize how powerful Google AdWords is and all this different data that you can go through. And if you're listening on the podcast, feel free to re-listen to this and follow along, or just go watch the video on YouTube. The last thing I want to talk about is segments. And segments are cool for a number of different reasons because it allows you to segment your data. And let me explain more what I mean. So to show this off properly, I'm going to go back to source/medium, but you can use this anywhere in your data. So I'm going to go add segment up here at the top, and I might say something like, let me see what I got. Paid traffic. I only want to show paid traffic. So now all of Google Analytics is only going to show paid traffic. It's only going to show Google CPC, Bing CPC, Bing PLAs, and Bing/Yahoo CPC. So what's helpful about this is now I can look at geolocations. I can look at where is my geolocations coming from, for instance. So now I can look at all the different data using just that segment. And only of all my traffic, only 40% of it comes from paid traffic. But I can see, how do people using paid traffic, how do they interact with my site differently? You can also look at things like mobile traffic. You can make your own custom segments. I did one here where I only want to filter for people that have made more than 2 transactions in the lifetime, I believe, of the site. Let's see how it goes. So people that have made more than 2 transactions, and it segments. So this is like the total paid traffic. This is 2+ transactions. Basically, the thing I want to get across is you can segment people and you can show different types of data. Like I said, you can show mobile traffic only, direct traffic only, new users, just a bunch of different things. And right here, there's the custom section as well, where you can make a new segment. And if you do that, you could also segment by age, by gender, by language. You can segment by traffic sources. The options are endless. And that's the big point I want to get across over and over again, is with Google Analytics, everything you want to know about your website, you can pretty much find out, and it's hugely powerful. So I'm going to do the next episode, which is going to be about 5 powerful things you can learn from Google Analytics, and it'll be more a practical way to apply Google Analytics to improving your business. But I hope this at least spurs you into thinking about what kind of interesting things you can be doing. I also want to mention again, I do have the AdWords and Google product listing ads course coming out soon. If you're watching the YouTube video, you can click up here. If not, you can go to effectiveecommerce.com to keep up to date about that. It's going to be launching February 20th. I'm working on it right now. It's going to be really awesome. It's a complete brain dump of everything I know about paid advertising, and I'm really I can already tell I'm proud of it. So anyways, with that being said, guys, I hope to see you guys in the course. I'll be talking more about that next week. And for everybody watching YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button and leave a comment if you have any questions. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment. I answer every single one, and I hope this was helpful.